Hi, it's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and today I thought I would make one of those really cool letter cookie cakes that have been all the rage on Instagram. I'm going back to my roots and making Italian meringue today. So basically all you need to do is have your egg whites whipping, and then you're going to pour that hot sugar syrup in once it's reached 244 degrees Fahrenheit. Beat that on high for 3 minutes and you should have the most perfect, lovely, fluffy meringue. Half of the meringue will be used to make meringue decor, and then the other half is going to be used for our Italian meringue buttercream. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making some meringue mushrooms. I've actually never done this before, but I've wanted to do it ever since I learned how to make meringues. You can do this with a round tip or a tipless bag. Today I'm using the tipless bag because I'm going to be transforming it into different uses. Don't worry if the meringue is peeking a little bit on the top there, we're going to be cutting it off later. Now to make the top of the mushroom cap, what I did was I cut a bigger hole for this, and then I'm just kind of squeezing and letting my bag stay in the same spot, and then I'm kind of ending it off so that there's no peak on the top of this mushroom cap. I'm making this cookie cake in celebration of a little baby, and the parents are really into that kind of woodsy feel. So I'm trying to create things that give a little bit more of an outdoor feeling. I'm making little meringue kisses here, so I further opened up my bag, and to make these meringue kisses, all I had to do was put a little bit of food coloring directly in the bag. I placed the white meringue in, and then I squeeze the bag and just lift up. Mushrooms don't always look perfectly white, so I'm adding a little bit of cocoa powder here, and my trick is to always put the cocoa powder in a tea ball. That way you can control how much cocoa powder is going on these. To make the leaves on the trees, I just cut a V with my piping bag there. Then I'm using a pretzel rod to act as the trunk, and then I'm going to cover this all in my green leaves, and it kind of looks like an evergreen tree when we're all done. Whenever I think of the outdoors, I think of camping. And when I think of camping, I think of roasted marshmallows. So what I'm doing here is I'm firing up the rest of the meringue that was already in there, and then I'm just gonna go add in my butter. And this buttercream really does add a nice little toasty hint to your cookie. Moving on to the chocolate cookie portion of the recipe. Now this is not my recipe. I will post the original link below where I got this recipe. I pretty much follow it exactly. The only thing I do is I use salted butter, so I reduce the amount of salt that I'm adding in afterward. Now I will say that this cookie is actually not very sweet, but it has a very nice chocolatey flavor, and I think if you were to decorate these with royal icing, it would actually be the perfect amount of sweetness. Like all cookie recipes, you really just want to make sure that you add in these dry ingredients until combined. And it is a dough that doesn't require any chilling, which is just wonderful. So I'm just kind of rolling out my dough here using a very tiny amount of flour because there is a good amount of flour in this recipe. And then I am using whatever sized letter I would like. I will say in hindsight, I should have gone a little bit bigger with this letter just because when I start adding on all of the details on top, it starts to look less like an R. It's still there, it's just that in photos, it's really hard to tell what letter it really is. I'm using a multi-star tip, and I'm placing all of this buttercream in the center. Don't be too picky about what this looks like, but do be aware that the edge will show. So you want to make sure that your piping is nice and neat near the edges. Then you're going to place on your other cookie, and now this does have to be a little bit more perfect. I'm trying to keep this in a nice straight line and just keeping going with that line pattern all the way down. What's great is you can use whatever toppings you please on these type of cakes. I think the Oreo cookie goes really nicely with that outdoor camp feel. I'm going to place one of those little trees that I made on there, and now I'm going to assemble my mushroom. All I'm doing here is I'm cutting off the tip of that meringue, and then I'm going to place that little cap on top. If you wanted the mushroom to be freestanding, then you would just take the cap of the mushroom and then attach it to the bottom with a little bit of chocolate. And it will look even more like a mushroom because, as we know, the undersides of mushrooms are a little bit brown as well. All of these meringues, by the way, were in the oven at 175 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 to 3 hours. It takes a while for meringue to really dry out. And the reason that I keep it at such a low temperature is because I don't want any browning to happen on the meringue. I really don't feel like using fondant today, so I'm just taking out a little bit of wafer paper and cutting out a banner and using my edible marker to create this little banner for Baby Rook. You can really add any decor you would like on your cookie letter cake, and it's going to look gorgeous. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of this sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!